Hey, you know what time it is.
Time for the heart to heart journey to Unconditional Love Podcast.
That's right. And I'm your host, the late bloomer. That is my co-host, Harlan Brown. And Harlan Brown, what's going on? What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Man, you like Blue what it do? What it do?
Holla at your boy. Holla at your boy.
Are you? How are you?
Hey, man, it's another day, man. It's another day. Happy holidays out there to everybody. I know
Absolutely.
it's Turkey week going on, so please eat in moderation. Be careful out there. Safe traveling if you're traveling.
Definitely be
But
safe.
yeah, so I'm gonna give thanks, and I'm gonna thank the audience for being listeners, especially our faithful. I get feedback every time a podcast come out. I know we was doing a week at a time. Now we're doing it more frequently, and they're just they are listening, and I appreciate that. I want to say thank you for support, and we
Absolutely.
love you. And I'm going to thank you by giving you something today, and there's something just to think about. I know we had, and I know I'm going off tangent because I don't know, I didn't know what I was going to say, but I'm going to say this. Um, I know we've been talking about relationships and the keys to relationships and what makes relationships, but I'm gonna give a little nugget to the audience today. And again, this is just how I feel, just giving you an alternative way to think about things. But today I'm going to talk about what makes the perfect relationship and how you can have your relationship just as perfect as it should be amongst yourselves. And both people need to be on one accord with this. And that's this the heart to heart conversation. This time is called selflessness.
Yeah.
Selflessness. That is the key. It's really easy. That is the key to you having a great, everlasting, long lasting relationship. Because
Yeah.
when you start putting selfish in it, it's over. Because now you feel what you deserve. I deserve. I got to have this. I got to be this way. I got to make this way or that way in order for this relationship to be what I want it to be. Not
Right.
what y'all want it to be, but what I want it to be. So when you
Exactly.
start throwing that I and that selfish, you're lost or you're losing. And we don't want to see you lose. We want to see you win.
Right.
So for those who feel that they deserve something, let it go. Live a life of selflessness in your relationship. Should be you should just live a life of selflessness because that's what God does. And it's WW what is it? WW
What would Jesus do?
yeah, WWJD. And that's what he do. He lived his life selfishly. He always gave. And you know
Because he
what
came to
happened?
serve.
He gave. He got back, got back, got back. And that's what again, I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk because I can talk about this all day, all around, because I believe that this is the main key to a relationship being eternal, being everlasting.
I agree with you because I think we need to flip the lens on relationships when we look at it in a selfish type of way. When I say flip the lens, instead of looking at you and what you need and what your needs are, I think for me, it's about two people and it's about being selfless to the other person. It's like you said, what would Jesus do, right? Jesus came here to serve, and I would want my significant other to be able to be selfless with me as I'm selfless with him, um, in all aspects, right? Just making sure that I can help where I can help, where there's a need that I can be proactive and step in and try to help. Like in my book, we're in this together. And if we're in this together and we're being selfless, we need to start looking at how we can serve each other opposed to what the person can do for me.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing that I think a lot of couples have to deal with. It's a scripture wives submit to your husbands, and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of women get really defensive about it. Like, I ain't submitting to nothing. Ain't nobody gonna teach and control me, whatever. That's not what that means.
It's not
It's a
about
serving. Yeah, it's a servitude. It's serving the other person, and that is the hardest thing that couples have. It's so hard to serve the other, especially in times where you're at odds with that person for some superficial reason, something that is they say you make it longer bigger than what it is. It's a concern of yours, but it's a selfish concern of yours. Just take a step back and be like, what I'm asking for, is it worth it? Me losing my relationship over?
is it worth it, and is it really a thing? Like sometimes we get so concerned about small things, right? Like it could be the smallest of things. Um, and we blow that out of proportion and we don't take the opportunity to look at it from a different perspective, right? We need to look at it when you're in a relationship and you're being selfless and you're serving the other person and you're trying to figure out what it is that you can do to help this person be the best person. Um, you're 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 more considerate, if that's it. Like you're more considerate, you're more understanding, you want to know, you want to help, you want to be there to strengthen this relationship. And I think in doing those small things and stop blowing the little things out of proportion, because those things are not what's keeping you together. Those things are not the things that you should be looking at. You should be looking at, what is this relationship that we have going on? This little thing, yeah, we can talk about this later if it bothers me that much. But at the end of the day, could you be considerate with the small things? Because sometimes the small things are just that, just really tiny things that are not even relevant to, or it's not even half of what you blown it up to be in your mind.
Yeah,
Because a lot of times we look at stuff and it could be a small little thing, and because we feel like that we may feel like the other person is on the defense, or we may feel a whole lot of different things, right? But let's not read into things instantly. Let's take the time to understand the relationship a little bit better, understand the person a little bit better, spend more time just getting together and knowing each other a little bit better, and you won't explode over small things. And
yeah,
once you're confident in that, then you won't have the limitations that you have when you have so many things going on in your head that you need to think about. And is this true? Is this right? Is this, you wouldn't have all of that. You would be focused on making sure that this relationship is growing.
yeah. But
And
let me
so,
say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say, I don't want to discount what people are going through in their relationship. Yes, if he's not being attentive to you, if she's not being attentive to you, you deserve to have that. If he's not communicating with you, you deserve to have that.
that's
But
the
here's the
basic.
thing. Here's the thing. Don't make it a tit for tat, because a lot of times what we do is a tit for tat. He ain't talking to me, I'm not going to talk to him. She ain't talking to me, I'm not going to talk to her. He don't um, he don't kiss me when he come through the door no more. I'm not going to kiss him when he come through the door no more. She don't cook for me, I ain't cooking for her. She don't give me a hug before we go to bed, I ain't giving her a hug before bed. Don't make it a tit for tat thing. Sometimes life happens, people start changing, and not changing like sometimes it's drastic, sometimes it's not. Just remember this: change is inevitable.
Yes.
So let me make sure I'm keeping y'all in line here. We're talking about selflessness. We get to a point where we want to start saying, I need, I need, I need. And that's when that that wedge is being put right between you and your partner. When you start understanding I need and believing you need, then that's when the wedge starts to the destruction of your relationship. And that's what someone who's an enemy against you want. They want to break y'all up. And you can't allow that to happen. You got to keep that selflessness attitude, because if you don't, then you start feeding to, yes, I do deserve. Yeah, I should have gotten. Yeah, I don't know why. Like my girl, her husband took her to Bahamas. I ain't get a trip to Bahamas. You start feeding into that and getting that, knowing that you and your husband ain't in the Bahamas, but you want that trip anyway because you feel you deserve it because you've seen somebody else have it, and that's where it starts coming in. That's where that division starts coming in the relationship. And yeah, I'm getting closer to the camera because I want y'all to understand this is for, I'm coming from the heart with this. Stay selfless. Stay selfless. Do not feed into all of that you have to have or you need or you better get, or you just gonna act a fool. Just think of now you I know you've had that when guys have acted the fool on you because you didn't do something that they wanted you to do.
I mean, yeah, I definitely have had that. Acting acting out and acting a fool because you think that you're not getting something that you deserve or you need. Why don't you think about, do you really do if the person that you're with is selfless and they're helping you in every way that they can, and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you acting a fool because you didn't get one other thing? Like, come on, you have no consideration and you don't really care about that other person because you're not really paying attention on all of the things that this person is juggling to try to make sure that I'm giving it ample time to you and giving you ample attention without having, I I want you in my space, and it's good that you're here,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna need you to understand that there's like 10 other things that could be going on at the same time. But it's not that I'm taking my attention away from you. It's that I'm glad that I'm this is what I wanted, but I this is what I want, but I just can't. um it's no need to act a fool because I gotta do something else, right?
Yeah.
It's
But
just no need to do that.
let's flip it. Let's not. No, we're not even talking about if the person is doing and being selfless with them. Let's talk about so that the audience can understand this. Even if your partner is being selfish, don't tit for tat it.
Tit
You
for tatting
continue
it
to
is just
say,
going to enlarge it's just going to broaden the situation, because if I'm mad at you for something and you're gonna say, well, you know what, I'm not gonna talk to you either, or I'm not gonna do this either, and I'm not gonna, all you're doing is compiling a bunch of stuff. So you might as well go ahead and if you're going tit for tat, go ahead and just go ahead and end it now. Because why would you want to see how miserable you can make each other before somebody walk away?
right, and it doesn't solve or resolve anything.
No,
You still
at all.
have to have that conversation. You still have to have that heart to heart. And that's why we're giving you the heart to heart today. Selflessness. Stay selfless. What
Absolutely.
happens is you stay selfless, you feel you're not getting anything in return, it's okay. Why is it okay, Lay Bloomer? I'm gonna tell you why it's okay. Because you doing the same thing that they're doing doesn't bode well for anybody.
No.
Now, the one thing that you hate that you're not getting, you're doing it to somebody else. And you don't want it done to you. So why would you just start doing it to somebody else because that's what they're doing to you? Have the conversation.
Have the
Have the
conversation of
heart
why
to heart.
it's not happening, right? Have the conversations. If you used to your husband coming home or your man coming home and giving you a hug and a kiss, and he just for this last week he hasn't done it, and you're not understanding why, ask. It's not a hard thing. Just ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you could just be honest, because that's one of the things that I feel like when people are in relationships and they try to go ham on somebody is because you didn't ask, and instead of saying something as simple as, I miss the fact that you used to come in and you used to give me a hug and a kiss every day, and now you don't do that. It's something, what's going on?
Yeah.
Instead of, I ain't never kissing him again. I ain't never giving him another hug because he never coming in. And it could be something simple as, work is crazy. And I'm just in my head right now. I'm, not trying to neglect or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, there's just a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm trying to figure some stuff out. And we all do it. We all get in our head when we think that. And when and we call ourselves protecting our spouse by keeping it in our heads and not sharing the
Yeah.
experience. So your spouse is on the outside thinking, what is it? Like, what is happening now? Oh, he doesn't like me anymore. He doesn't want to be bothering me anymore. But it's not that. And sometimes in relationships, you need to have those conversations, because if you don't have the conversations, you'll never know. And then you'll spend your time guessing, and you'll get on this hamster wheel of making up stories that never ever existed.
That never
Right.
existed. Never,
And then
never existed.
now you're mad because
Right.
none of this
Now
stuff
no, you're
ever
not
happened.
mad. You're angry. You're livid.
None
You're
of this
livid.
stuff ever happened. These are the stories
Right.
that you made up in your head. And then when you finally, and like you said, people will explode when they go off on you. You sitting there going, "Wait, what?
Yeah.
Who told you that? Where did that
Right.
come from?
Where they come from.
How did you
Yeah.
even piece that together?" Like those
Yeah.
things happen in real life because people make up stories
They make
because
up stories.
they
Yeah.
fill in the blanks. They
Yeah.
fill in the
And,
blanks.
and again, it's that and when you start talking to other people, let's just get this out there. They don't know what's going on in your relationship. They're going to give you bad advice. And if you're not, they'll think about, we had a podcast about bad advice. They're going to give you bad advice because they're going to tell you, yeah, don't take that from them. It's
Right.
not taking or it's not doing something. You have to communicate with your spouse. You have to be selfless with your partner. Because if you're not, then you're going to be a selfish person, and being selfish in a relationship doesn't work. It doesn't work when you because now it's you getting everything. What are you giving back?
You're not giving back nothing. And let me tell you what that does. When you're being selfish in a relationship and you have all of these demands and all of these things that somebody must do, you are really driving that other person crazy. Because if this other because the other person likes you so much, they're trying to live up to these standards. And every time they feel like they got halfway, you raise the bar again, and you raise the bar again, and you raise the bar again. You're not happy. And it has nothing to do with the person.
Yeah,
You're not happy in yourself because you're not even
look
taking
in
into
the mirror.
consideration that somebody is actually trying to, like, not trying, but as somebody's
There
actually
you go.
doing, but I told you I'm trying to get it out. I'm trying to get it out
Yep,
of my vocabulary. But
yep,
somebody's
yep,
actually doing something to show you that they care about you and they want to be in this relationship. And
yep.
you are still compounding. Well, if you really cared, then you would have did this and you would have did this. When I see that, that's just a sign of the person themselves just not being happy in themselves. And there's nothing in the world that I can ever do or give you that would ever make you happy. Because when you do that, you just want to make both of us miserable. And that's
Right.
the piece,
Yeah,
pieces,
yeah.
pieces,
So
pieces the one
selflessness is
thing
hard.
that's needed.
Yeah, selflessness is very hard because you're asking yourself to give to this person and you might not get anything back in return. That's
That's
hard.
love. That's
That's
love.
hard. That's hard. But when you do it, you're not doing it because you want to make that other person happy in so many words. You're doing it because you want to do it, not because
Right.
he's asking you or she's asking you to do it.
Right.
You're doing it because that's in your heart to make that person very comfortable, make them feel like they're the best thing on earth because that's how you feel about them. Now,
Right.
if you don't get it reciprocated, that's when you need to have the conversation. But don't stop being selfless because somebody else stopped being selfless with you. Tit for
True.
tat never works. And I know you're gonna be like, well, I ain't gonna go through all this if they ain't doing this. I get it. I get it. But
That's when you
let's
talk.
think about this. Do you want to win and getting what you want, or do you want the relationship to last? So is it about the win, or is it about you being doing things that is going to uplift your relationship so that you can be with the person that you chose, that chose you, and that you accepted their choice, saying, thank you for choosing me and going there. That's
Yeah.
why we have these heart to heart conversations. And I know our time is up, but Because I wanted to go a different direction in this selflessness, but again, just the way that it played out and what we're saying and how it came out, I hope you got something from it. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna get and we got to drop a scripture.
Yeah.
So let
Scripture.
me drop
Yes.
the scripture real quick because I know we press for time. So we're gonna go here. It's Romans 12:10. Can you read that for the audience there, Harlan Brown?
Absolutely. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourself.
Above yourself is the key to this. But be
Yes.
devoted to one another. That's two
In
people on the
love.
same accord. You cannot control the other person. So only thing you can control is you. So be devoted to your person in love and
Right.
honor that person above yourself. And when
That's
you do that, your relationship will flourish. Believe me. Now, it can't be done by yourself. Now, both of y'all have to be on one accord. So how do you get on one accord, Lay Bloomer? You pray together. Family that prays together stays together. You read the
absolutely.
word together. You
Absolutely.
communicate with each other together. You don't allow selfishness to seep in to crack your relationship, because once you give in to enemies, they're going to pounce on it and take it and take control of it. Don't
Yes.
allow that to happen to you in your relationship. That's why this is so important to me. It's important to Harlan Brown that you guys know that selflessness in a relationship is the key. I'm giving
Yes.
you this for the Thanksgiving holiday. Think
Yes.
about it. Because we're thankful for what? Be thankful that God gave you a person to share your life with
Exactly.
for the rest of your life. If you allow it to happen, it won't happen with selfishness. Will not
No,
happen with selfishness.
not
But
at
with
all.
selflessness, you have a fighting chance. You have an excellent chance to make it work. Matter of fact, I think it's ironclad when both of you are on one accord and selfless and into the word and make God the center of your relationship.
In the
Remember, we
midst.
going back. Look, we going back to say what makes relationship work. God was like 1,000, the number 150 or something. You know what I mean? But when
Right.
you put God first and you put Him in that relationship, that begins your selflessness. Because if you
Right.
are on one accord with what God does and how He operates in selflessness. So, any last words, Harlan Brown? I know I went on my soapbox, but
No,
sometimes you gotta
I
go on your
think it's
soapbox.
needed.
You gotta go on your soapbox. Sometimes you gotta go on your soapbox because this is very important. We are trying. We're not trying. We are
We are
saying this.
doing.
We're
Yeah.
doing this to keep relationships together. So if you're
Right.
going through anything, stop. Take a step back. Look in the mirror and say, from today on, I'm not going to try to be selfless, but today on, I'm
Just be
going to be selfless.
right.
And what's crazy is this. Hold on, I don't think they know this, Harlan Brown. When you want change in your relationship, you are the change. When you
You
make the
make it
change,
right.
it's going to force the other person to change because they can't approach you the same way because you're a different person. You've
Exactly.
changed to make yourself better. That's only going to make your relationship better if that person is in with you. Again, you can't control what they do, but
No.
when you change and if they're into you, it's going to force them to change.
Right.
Believe me, I will never tell you to trust me because you should never put your trust in man. But I've done this several times. I changed. I wanted change in my relationship and it wasn't happening. So I had to change. And when I
Absolutely.
changed, it forced the other person to change because they wanted to be on the same page with me. They
Right.
wanted change. They didn't want that dissension in the relationship. They didn't want that wedge. They wanted the peace, the harmony, the joy, and everything that comes with when you collaborate with another individual. You come together because y'all have the interest of being together and loving each other and wanting to be with each other for the rest of your life. Now, the vows say what? Till death do us part?
Yes, they do.
I
In
think
good
that
and bad,
look,
sickness
I
and
said
health,
the
and all of
vowels.
those
The
things.
vowels.
The vows.
The vowels, yeah, AEIOU, they too, that's too definitely part too. But the vows that you gave and have given, and still death do you part. That means that you when you said that you were really wanting to give your life to that person for the rest of your
Right.
life. So
Right.
so honor that by being selfless and putting one another above yourself.
And you have to do
That's
that in a
selfless.
relationship. You have to do that in a relationship because at the end of the day, your partner may need something and you may not feel like doing it, but you know what? I'm devoted to making sure that you're
Yep,
good. And I'm going to go ahead and extend myself and do what I have to do to make sure that we're good. Right. And it's not just me making sure that you're good, it's that my devotion to making sure that you're good puts you in a space to be like, I got to make sure she's good because she's always holding me down. So
absolutely.
I think that once you can't, you don't receive what you don't give, right? So if you give a bunch of selfishness, you're going to receive a bunch of selfishness. If you give love, you get love in return. And I like, you don't control other people, but other people recognize it and they have to respect it, whether they want it or not. They have to respect it.
Yeah. And we're going to end on that note. Thank you for your last words. And as I end all my podcasts, trying to do something will keep you in your same place. But when you actually do something, your place has no limitations. I am your host, Delay Bloomer. That is my co-host, Harlan Brown. And we see you next week. Yeah.